Hello and welcome to Wednesday webinar. Today I'm coming to you from Waverley Creek in northern Queensland. I'm Julia Hartman from the Bantax National Accountants Group, and I'd like to talk to you about subdividing your parents' home. Now if it's a pre-85 home, go and have a look at last week's webinar, but today we're talking about when your parents have bought the house after the 19th of September 1985. So it's subject to capital gains tax, but of course it won't be at the moment because it's been covered by their main residence exemption. Now this is your main problem, that if you demolish the house to subdivide, to cut up into blocks or build townhouses or whatever, once you push over that house, you lose the main residence exemption, retrospectively going back. So your parents may have owned that property for 30 years, and 30 years worth of capital gain will become assessable the minute you push that house over. You may be able to, if you're going to build townhouses, wrangle it to get their main residence exemption on one of the townhouses. Have a look at ID 2003/232. But let's go back to having this problem that you've got to push the house over because it's in the middle of the block, things like that. You may want to relocate it, that could work too. But if you do need to push that house over, you may well consider waiting until after your parents die before you subdivide the block. Because when they die, their heirs inherit the property at market value at the date they die. So, because it was their home when they died, that's why. See, so that resets the cost base to market value and you can go forward from there. It doesn't, you can push the home over after that as long as the home was there when they die. Now you may think, oh well, we'll rent it out and we'll reset the cost base that way. That reset that happens when you rent out a property does not work, does not continue to hold after the house is demolished. That only works if the same property is sold. That's the only time you get to use the resetting of the cost base. If you first rented it out to the market value when you first rented it out, the only way you'll get that is if you don't demolish the house. So it's not going to fix it. In short, the only one that will fix it is waiting until they die or selling the property to another entity. And this may work for you. You might find your parents can't finance the development anyway and the bank will lend you the money, but they want your name on the title deed. So you may end up just having to buy it off them, and that's all right. They'll sell it to you at market value. They'll pay no tax on that if it's fully covered by their main residence exemption, and then you go forward and develop it with a cost base starting at that market value at that time. The only trouble is that you can't ever claim you're merely realising an asset when you sell off anything that you cut off that property. If you're going to build townhouses on it anyway, you're not going to get away with saying you're merely realising an asset, so go right ahead. But if you were hoping to cut it up into land and getting the mere realising an asset cut up, you won't, because obviously you bought the block off your parents to sell off, unless you're going to keep it for a long time, which anyway, wait until they die then in that case anyway. Now, of course, if you do buy the property off your parents, you're probably going to cause them a lot of grief with their pension. And if you do buy it off them, make sure that you get the DA approval before you buy it off them, so it's at the highest possible value that land can be at before you push the house over. If that all makes sense. Of course, you've got to get professional advice before you do anything dramatic here. This is just at the thought stage where the siblings are sitting around discussing what to do. This gives you a bit of guidance. And thank you for staying till the end, and hope to see you next week.